Welcome to the Dean Bleckman Show, live from Long Island. Free-flowing talk with a charismatic, down-to-earth host. Join Dean as he interviews and chats freely with his guests, ranging from superstar athletes to politicians, industry titans, and everyday folk with fascinating life stories. Dean educates, entertains, and most of all, touches people's lives. You're listening to the Dean Bleckman Show, live from Long Island.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dean Bleckman Show. It's my pleasure to be going all the way over to the Netherlands this early in the morning. It's 7:30 here in New York, Long Island, Eastern Standard Time here, 1:30 in the Netherlands. And my featured guest today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Ruthi Davis. Ruthi is a global multimedia editor, writer, author, speaker, consultant, business brand strategist, founder of Superfly Supermom and SuperKids Chronicles, and a frequent contributor for Bonbon Break, Tricycle, and the Huffington Post. Welcome to the Dean Bleckman Show, Ruthi Davis.
Thank you, Dean, so much for having me today. And it's very exciting to be able to bridge the Netherlands with New York. And good morning to the East Coast and to America, to the U.S. And good afternoon to everybody here in Europe. It's wonderful to be on the show. Thank you so much for having me.
Ruthi, I think you're the only one that so far to date has been able to get me up this early to do a show. We usually start them a little bit later. But you, once again, you just inspire, educate, and motivate me. It's just, when I started this show back in July, my mom being my first guest, it was my vision always that if I could make a difference, every single show I do, if I could make a difference in people, in anyone's life, even just one person on every show, it makes me extremely happy.
Well, I think that's why we connected so well, and you and I have hit it off from the beginning. It's like I've known you for years. It's really a pleasure to be on the show, and that's completely my mission, my motto as well, is empowerment, connecting with people, learning about people, and just being real, having fun, laughing, and learning together.
Well, listen, I just want to say, I know you've got you're live over there in the Netherlands, and I know You've got family, friends, and colleagues from all over the world listening in, and I want to thank everybody from all over the world that we're connecting with for being here on the Dean Bleckman Show. Really appreciate it, and I know that after this show, it will also be available on Facebook as well, live, and Ruthi's show with me will be podcasted, archived. It'll be available on the Dean Bleckman Show website at deanbleckman.com. It'll be available on the Dean Bleckman Show YouTube channel as well as on iTunes. So let's I want to just say once again, thank you everybody this early, especially here in the States and from all around the world, to be tuning in to this great show that we have today. And my featured guest, just a remarkable woman that's become a dear friend of mine over the last couple of weeks. So Ruthi, let's really hit it. I mean, your mission and your branding, just remarkable.
Thank you so much.
Superfly Supermom. I mean, really open acknowledgement of really let's laugh, let's cry, let's grow together, live, laugh, and love passionately, and you will then find true happiness and success. I mean, it's celebrating and empowering your life together. Your background is just fascinating, and how you've now converted it to Superfly Supermom. Listeners all over the world, if you could please share, how did Superfly Supermom all come about?
Well, thank you for asking. It's been an amazing journey. I've been a writer my entire life. I've written for multiple genres, almost every kind of media, television, radio, business strategy, branding strategy, consulting. I've basically worked on the creative and the client side. A lot of my writing over the years had been more of a technical focus, more of the trade industry. And over time, I appreciated it. I learned so much. But in having had the privilege to move to multiple countries, multiple states, throughout the past decade, I've really learned so much. I pride myself on trying to connect with people on a very real and personal level, whether they're parents, professionals, teachers, anyone. I really see everyone the same, and I speak to everybody that I can. And the more that I would speak to people, the more that I would learn that no matter where they come from, thankfully right now I'm in a very international, global community of wonderful people who've come from every corner of the world, every religion, every background, and it's fascinating, and I absolutely love it, and I love immersing myself in it. And in doing that, I've really learned so much, not just about their culture and where they've come from, but I've learned a lot about myself. And people have approached me with questions, with just discussion, but very real, very quickly. And I've come to learn that through the stages of life, whether you're a parent, whether you're a professional, whether you're a child, inherently we're all the same. We all go through the similar waves and trials of life. And in connecting with people, I've really learned so much. And so I developed this brand, and, in being overseas, I give all the credit to my husband in coming to me and saying, you know what, if you're not fully happy working in the trade industry and writing articles anymore, you need to do what is your passion. You're young ones, you can live once, really focus on what makes you happy. And that really caused me to look introspectively, and the main things that made me happy were connecting with people, helping people, doing what I can to empower others and empower myself. And I've learned and grown so much that I developed this brand. And I think, the understanding of what Superfly Supermom is a little bit, unless they read the background on the website, which many, I understand, may not do, it may take a lot of different layers. So basically, many of you know that I have 4 children, and a lot of times when I walk into school, a lot of people will look at me and the kids are smiling and holding hands together and saying, people will come up to me and say, wow, you're a super mom. That's great. Everyone's always smiling and things are looking so, perfect and always happy. And, I think it's such a beautiful compliment, but at the same time, my instinct is almost to knock that pedestal down. It's not real. There's no perfect. We're having a great morning. That's my intention, but I'm the same as everyone else. You have moments in the morning, you're hurrying, you're rushing, kids are fussing, kids are crying, you're trying to get out the door, and we're all the same. And the Superfly aspect and my logo, I'm not trying to, emulate myself as a fly, but what I am trying to do is appeal to that voyeuristic, intrinsic desire that people have that makes reality shows so popular, is that people kind of want to peek in and say, I wonder what her life is really like behind closed doors. What are those raw moments really like? What is her life like when no one's watching? Is it the same? Are they all smiling? Is it a facade? What is her life about? And so I developed this blog that deals with not just parenting, but wellness and health and nutrition and relationships and female empowerment and personal empowerment and growth. And it basically takes a look at all of these values that I hold very deeply, and it allows you to come into my home. The blogs are set up in an open confessional format, so it is very personal right from the first sentence, a lot of times embarrassing, and that's okay. And I allow people to peek into my life and learn about, what I go through and what my life is really like. And it always has a positive undertone, and the end always has lessons, takeaways, trial and error lessons that I came out with in the end of learning. And I've learned a lot, not everything, in having 4 kids who are completely different personalities, I've learned so much. So I want to help people, and I want to empower people, and I want people to feel like it is okay to be real, to be honest, not to fear judgment, not to fear criticism, but to really stand firm in who you are as a person in your life and know that you can change at any time. You grow, you learn from others, and to appreciate and really evolve as a person through time in meeting others, in relating, in sharing. And so that's really the premise of my brand and my blog and the entire empowerment undertone. I want to connect with people, whether they are parents or not, whether they're professionals, whether they're elderly, young, they're children. I allow all of those facets on the website. So that's basically what the brand is. It's the super mom, or the super dad or the super kid in all of us. And it's helping you reach a little bit higher and grow without that fear, having an openness that is okay because we're human. So that's what it is.
Terrific, Ruthi. Why don't you just share with people how they could connect with Superfly Supermom, and if they want to write directly to you, how they could reach out to you and learn more?
That's a great question. Well, the website is www.superflysupermom, common spelling, and you can either go to the contact section. The menu bar is on the right-hand side. When you visit the homepage, you can go to the contact section, or you can write to me, R. Davis, at superflysupermom.com, and go ahead and send me a message, send me an email. I'm very easy to reach. There are no hidden layers or, a big crew working for me. It's just me, and I'm proud to do it, and I'm happy to share and empower and help. And so send me suggestions for blogs, suggestions in general, any opportunities that you may have, collaborative opportunities. I've gotten a lot of really great feedback from other companies and brands saying that they want to start working together, which is wonderful. Also, the children's page, I have a SuperKids page as well. And that's a very similar premise that, I can get into later if you'd like. But but basically they can write there as well. I have an area for children to actually submit their testimonials about life. Just like I write my blogs, I'm encouraging children. It's kind of a youth empowerment initiative as well that I began, where I want to help empower people from the inside out, really let them feel confident, feel empowered with who they are, be open to learning and growing and writing. I want children to connect with each other. They go through so much. They're learning, they're changing, they're figuring out life. And so that is another facet of the website that my eldest daughter began. She started writing the blogs, but I encourage other children to not just read, but to write, to express, to communicate. I can help with the editing. I'd be happy to do that. And they can share. And in that similar format, at the end of the blogs, there can be some tips. Maybe somebody was bullied. Maybe somebody is, not as confident, or someone is struggling in reading. To share, to grow. Let's all, work together. We're human. Let's connect on that level. No matter where we're from, what our background is, that's what I'm trying to promote. So I'd love to see a lot of contributions from children, whatever age, whether you're a teenager, whether you just started writing. I'd be happy to share and promote that. And also for adults, let me know what you'd like to see on the blog. Let me know your comments, your feedback on the post. All of that for me is why I'm doing this. I'm proud, I feel privileged, and I feel happy to be able to make an impact in other people's lives. And at the same time, I'm learning as well.
Everyone around the world, as you can see, I've got quite a high energy, young, beautiful lady on my show today.
Thank you, Dean.
But I want to emphasize a little further how special and unique you are, and obviously youthful. That for nearly 2 decades, you've reached professionally audiences, Ruthi, worldwide as a journalist, a ghostwriter, an editor. You've worked with a tremendous amount of Fortune 500 companies on multifaceted advertising, marketing campaigns, through copywriting, brand development, business strategy. I mean, come on, you've been a contributor of Bonbon Break, Red Tricycle, the impressive Huffington Post. This is not, my guest today is not some, housewife mother that's just gotten out of bed and giving you advice. There's a tremendous background of living true life experiences that mothers, that people, that children that go through every day. And I really want to emphasize, not only to my listeners and my audience here in North America, in the United States, but around the world. But what I'm so impressed to be able to connect with you, and that we're doing this at so early in the morning from here, Long Island, and going over to the Netherlands. That Ruthi Davis is about, what if you could feel complete confidence in sharing and laughing about your everyday challenges, your parenthood drama you go through every day, relationship issues that you go through up and down the turbulence, personal growth without fear of judgment and criticism, and that Ruthi Davis over in the Netherlands has created a mission and a brand to make everybody on all those issues feel comfortable coming into her world, and her helping people share, all those experiences that every day, whether it's open acknowledgement of let's laugh and cry and grow together.
Right.
So you're really remarkable.
Thank you so much. That's very sweet.
I think I don't know if you have any questions coming in or what, but I think there's so much to cover here, Ruthi. I know there's going to be so many other future shows that we'll be doing together. We're pretty much just giving a cross segment about you, and I think the Supermom Chronicles blog. Mm-hmm. I mean, is there a way that we could get into some really good past experiences that could be shared, some really great stories that could be shared along the Chronicles? I know people can go onto your website, go on to Supermom Chronicles, but is there some really life-changing examples that you could share on the show today?
Absolutely. I do have a multitude of blogs on there. Perhaps, I was thinking about this today. What was the most impactful blog? The one that really, I guess, personifies everything that I'm doing and what's changed me as a person. And I think it would be my first one. My first blog was called More Than a Wave Jumper. Some of you may be familiar with that. If not, you may want to check it out. And it's a personal story. When my family had holiday or vacation, and we visited the north of Spain to the Basque region. And it was a life-changing experience. And it was just one particular moment that stands out in my mind that I really hold on to, and it kind of gives me focus and grounds me every once in a while when, when life can feel a little bit overwhelming or you have, a lot going on at the same time. And basically what happened there, and this is kind of the epitome of the blog, is we had gone to Spain, and we headed towards the beach, of course. The kids love the beach. And as we went there, the kids, of course, went hurling towards the shore, towards the water, running, excited. We do have the beach here, but unfortunately we don't visit it too often. It's usually too cold. But we went to the beach, and the kids are running towards the water. And at that moment, my husband and I looked at each other, and we told the kids, "Hey, roll your pants up, don't get wet. We've got the whole day here. Please don't get wet." And of course, as we saw them enjoying the shore and jumping in the shallow water, that's when my husband and I looked at each other, and he went and got the change of clothes from the car. So At that moment, I kind of put my purse down, my huge big mama purse, and sat on it and watched the kids, and the kids were having the best time and playing by the water, and, my little one's digging in the sand, and they're having a great time, and it was really neat. There weren't a lot of people out at the beach at the time, and I'm not a big swimmer myself, so, the water's a little bit unnerving for me overall. I will learn eventually, though. Anyway, so as I'm sitting there, I watched these elderly women, I think there were 3 or 4 of them, walk towards the shore, and they had their, swimming caps on and their goggles on and their bathing suits on, and they stand there, and I felt a little too cold to imagine myself in a bathing suit, but I kind of just sat there and watched them as the kids were safely playing, and, they fixed their goggles and their swim caps, and I think started out maybe 2 or 4 of them, and they all stand at the shore, and they start walking towards the shore very slowly, and they stand in the shallow water, and they just stay there, and they don't move, and they weren't swimming, and they were doing nothing, and they were just standing there and staring into the ocean, and I was looking at them, laughing to myself, thinking, what are they doing? What's going to happen? Like, let's see them swim, let's see them dive. There were really big waves coming at them, and they did nothing, and they just stood there, and then when the wave got closer, they stood there and they kind of moved their feet and they kept standing there, and then some of them would just dive right into the center of the wave, come up through the other side, and then they'd get up and they'd move backwards and they'd stand there again in the same spot. And a few times they'd move forward a bit, a few times they'd move back, a few times one would dive in, one would swim through it, and I just was thinking, what are they doing? I don't get it. And after that moment, they kept swimming, and I have pictures. It was such a strange moment that I took a ton of pictures, and they're on that blog. You can actually see them in the background. And, and the kids didn't even notice them, and I sat there, and it stayed with me for days after, maybe a week or 2 after the event, and I was thinking, I don't get it. There has to be a meaning for it. I don't understand. And then it dawned on me, and I realized, in a metaphorical sense, whether it's true or it's not, for me, it had a very, a bigger, deeper impact. And that basically was, they stood there, they were standing in the same ocean, kind of like, we're all standing in life, we're living, we're all here together. They're all different. And they all sat there and they focused on the waves coming at them. And they were all a little bit different depending on where they were standing, and they had their feet in the sand, and they waited for the wave to approach them, and they allowed the wave to push them. And maybe they weren't great swimmers, and if the wave was really, really big, they weren't fearful of it. They were okay. Whatever came at them, whatever moment, big or small, however the wave was, it approached them, it pushed them, it nudged them, and it caused them to kind of redefine their stance and counterbalance. And sometimes they even had the gumption to dive right in the middle of it. And I really, that resonated very deeply with me, because for me, I saw it in that same sense. We're all here together in life. We're all living. We all have different backgrounds, experiences, no matter where we stand in life. The waves that come that come towards us are going to be different, bigger or smaller, push us, pull us. The undercurrent's going to give us a surprise little push, propel us in certain directions, but it's all how we stay in peace and stay calm and counterbalance and realign our feet in the sand with that centered base that determines our inner peace and our happiness and how we approach anything in life. And that really gave me a different perspective on things, because, I learned to not have fear and not live with regret or fear or worry or concern. What do people think of me? How do they see me? How do I come off to others? But just letting go of that veil, letting go of all the superficial worry that, that social media or the world or, or our preconceived notions of life have on us, and just be ourselves and connect with people and enjoy each other and learn from each other. And no matter what comes at you, no matter what waves push you and pull you, no matter if something you would have never expected pulls you when you're not looking, it's okay. You take everything one step at a time. You focus, you stay centered, you counterbalance, you realign your feet, and you just go for it. And you do the best, and you really are true to yourself. And, and that really was the catalyst for my first blog. And it thankfully, it's taken off since then. And I hope that I've struck a chord with other people too, to help them see that it's okay to be you, it's okay to be real and honest and to share and not worry what other people, how they see you, and not worry about judgment. There's really no reason to live with fear. Fear is the number one most debilitating, halting, force that will stop us in our tracks and cause us to not succeed. So I try to embed that in my children, in myself, in others, to let go and to be real and to share and be true to your passion and to yourself. So sorry for that long-winded response.
Ruthi, that was beautiful. And, I've always said from the outset when I launched my show and my vision that there's got to be a little sense of humor a little bit in each one of my shows. And I think Ruthi Davis is doing a wonderful audition to be the future co-anchor with Dean Bleckman on the Dean Bleckman Show. But listen, I want to emphasize that people can go to Superfly Supermom.com, and obviously there's Supermom Chronicles blog of Ruthi, and I was listening to you so diligently that I've just got to mention again that Ruthi's Supermom Chronicles, really is Ruthi's virtual diary of a brutally honest moments and life lessons that are immediately resonated with audience as she harmoniously bridged that undisclosed gap between daily life situations, shared experiences, solutions, and strength with a blend of unfiltered candor and personal truth. That, in the beginning, when you were sharing that true life experience with your children down on the beach, right away from the beginning, you said that you, Mom, that you're afraid of the water. So that fear issue, right. How you, if you want to even get into it more, that here's Mom having fear of the water, which a lot of people do, and parents have other fears. Sure. How you as a mother try to deal with that as carefully and diligently as possible with your children. I don't know if you want to share a little bit more.
Sure.
How you really dealt with that.
The first thing that I've done is have my kids learn how to swim. So, they're amazing. I think my kids have taught me more about myself and life than I've ever learned. I think the last decade has been the most eye-opening in my entire life. You live through them, you watch them grow, you teach them, and it causes you to keep evaluating your own person and your own values and your own experiences, and to make sense of everything. And yes, and I'm a terrible swimmer. I swim holding my nose, and I've almost drowned 3 times as a child. So yeah, the water is very uncomfortable for me, and I think that is one of my fears, and it's grown. So when we go on holidays and we go to a hotel with a swimming pool, I'll go in and I'll stay in the shallow end, even though I can swim, doggy paddle. I'm not very good, but I'll stay in the shallow end, and when it gets a little bit deeper, I can swim. But I realized after trying, I don't feel comfortable, and I kind of I think the kids will be happy with that if we can accomplish it, depending on where we move eventually, and to get swimming lessons. I think that's my number one for the younger kids to learn right off the bat. and also for me. So I want the kids to learn. I'm not perfect. Parents aren't always perfect, and we're learning with you, and we do our best. And I think that's really part of my focus is, showing them that I'm learning and they can help me learn and they can help me grow and we can learn together. We're a team, and that will be on the top of my list to learn how to swim as well as, my older two do.
Ruthie, if it helps at all, I'm not a great swimmer either.
See, I think that the further back that I had gone and in speaking to my mom and my grandmother and hearing about, her mother, my great-grandmother, we've seen that none of us can swim. And I don't know if it's a generational gap or it's just in my, maternal side of the family. I don't know. But, I've had nightmares of, huge, tsunami waves coming at me. And I think that says a lot. And it's definitely going to be at the top of my list of, something that I need to tackle when it's the right time.
So I've got to ask you, your children are all still very young right now. But
right.
So are you going to be the one that teaches them to drive one day? That'll be a blog post, and it'll probably be trial and error. I think that my husband and I had agreed in one of our many conversations about the future that we will hire someone to teach who has another, brake and steering wheel on the other side in case. And I don't think that we will be jumping the second that they are of age to drive to do that. I think there'll be a lot of practice and experience and, practice with mom and dad. But I think the first line of learning will be with an instructor. I did. And, wow. I'm still here. So. Well, wow. As you know, I've got a show coming up later in the week with Dr. Faith Brown. We're doing a relationship, love, and a pre-Valentine's Day show before Valentine's Day next week. Obviously, this is a perfect conversation for us to have with your Supermom Chronicle blogs. How about any true life experiences or things you've experienced with people that you want to discuss that would be helpful right now on today's show that has to do with relationships, love, marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend, relationships just in general? Is there anything that you want to comment or share in regard to this subject? I love Valentine's Day. I know that's coming up. I got married on Valentine's Day, so it'll actually be that's cool.
Our anniversary, 13 years, this Valentine's Day. But as far as relationships, I think that is one of my next blogs. I'm going to delve a little more into relationships in general. But I think, the way that I have tried to structure it. I don't even think that's the right word, but just kind of base my life and everything that I do and all the effort that I put out is basically very similar. It's very uniform. And, I want the kids to see that in every, and my husband and I, we met when we were in college. So we're college sweethearts, and we've basically grown up together since I was 18. And actually that's more than half my life. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, I truly believe that in order to foster a positive relationship, the number one attribute that needs to be really, really, really strong is communication and respect. So I guess that's two things. But those two things are the balance. You unconditionally love your family, you love your husband, you love your close friends, and your family, whoever's around you. If you truly want them in your life, if you truly want to have a successful relationship with them, the key is communication. And, we're all going to have our up and down moments and moods and emotions. And frustrations and, things are going to happen throughout the day that annoy us, and they carry it over into another moment. And, you're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have moods. That's not going to change. What does impact a relationship is how you manage that together and how you communicate together, and, in being honest and real and candid. With my kids, I'm not perfect. When I overstep or I micromanage or I raise my voice because I'm really, really tired, or I'm, frustrated with repeating the same thing 25 times, which I'm sure, maybe a lot of you experience as well on Facebook Live. You sometimes lose your patience, and I'm completely comfortable with, after the fact, coming back and saying, I'm sorry, and explaining it and being honest, and why I came out that way and why I said the words that I said, or how I can improve. We're very big on speaking honestly and openly and acknowledging when we do something, properly or improperly, whether it's between my kids together, myself to the kids, or my husband and I. We have moods and we have moments where we say, oh, with my husband, you must be tired, you must be hungry, let me satisfy, give you some food, and then we'll talk again in a moment. And he'll do the same with me. He'll kind of laugh and smile and give me a little space. And the bottom line is at the end of the day, there's no going to bed angry. There's no personal attacks. There's no insults. It's always, very clear and very transparent, and not, there's nothing no sediments left in the relationship that can be built off of to create hostility or resentment or anger or frustration or all those things that a lot of times tear apart relationships. So as long as there's a mutual understanding, communication, openness, truth, then the relationship's going to be successful. And arguments will happen, bickering will happen, frustration and grumpy moods are going to happen. It's part of life. We're human, and that's okay. And that's what I write a lot of my blogs on. It's about humanity. We're real. We're okay. It's how you manage and how you are confident in yourself and taking it that next step. So that is my personal, I guess, secret, if you will, to a successful relationship, whether it's with a peer, a colleague, a child, your kids, your family member, your husband, your wife, whatever it is, it's communication and respect. Those are my top pillars that we don't mess with that.
Ruthi, that was terrific. It's first of all, I want to say congratulations to you and your husband on your wedding anniversary next week.
Thank you.
I think you're the very first person that I've ever met that got married on Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Well, it fell on a Saturday, so we kind of have to.
That's
Please
beautiful.
Remember.
And I think, this is an area that you discussed here, that we could spend, we could do a whole show on this, because I think you're really talking about. It's even something that I've experienced. It's probably something you've experienced, that many couples and families, and it's a hot issue how. You got married on Valentine's Day, and at one time it was just you and your husband, and
right.
Everything was just all about you two guys. And I'm sure both of you saw all kinds of stars and feeling good and love and all the great stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's not one child you have, but you have 4 children and a family. Right. And there's a lot going on, and a lot of stress going on in your life and everybody's life. And what's so unique about you and what you've developed, and I've got to share this from, how you've kind of created a voyeuristic nature of society that's really actually an intrinsic desire, where Ruthi Davis is peeking into the lives of people all over the world in real life, throughout there, behind, closed doors. Ruthi's getting into raw moments in real life, true experiences. And that, most people envision being a superfly on the wall of someone else's home, to see that that you're really, really in people's life, to show that in all these day-to-day struggles and everyday mishaps, that no matter where we are around the world, we are all the same. And it's just amazing, Ruthi, how I go to your website, and when we have a chance to speak by way of Skype all the way in the Netherlands, that it's just remarkable that these private moments, are often in people's lives muted, or they're hidden to avoid, personal embarrassment or judgment. And it's, I keep using the word remarkable, incredible, but you are remarkable, incredible, that it's just really amazing how you, through personal life experiences, that you've given the world an open confessional style with your Chronicles, that you're able to make it very interactive, impact nature of Superfly Supermom, and that your website allows readers to really connect with you on a personal level,
right, while
they laugh and they grow together with you. And it's really pretty special what you've done and what you continue to do.
And it's not easy, to be able to have published the first few blogs. It took a lot of guts. Some of my blogs, the first line, that's going to live with me. It stays permanent on there. Some of the embarrassing moments that I wrote about, and those are the things that you share with a best friend or a family member in a quiet moment. And I've learned, thankfully, after having moved to the Netherlands and meeting so many wonderful people and being part of such a global community, I've learned to just let go of that fear of judgment and put it all out on the table. Because you know what? I'm sure everybody has been a messy eater before. And I'm sure everyone, when they were, in grade school, has had a bit of flatulence. These are the real moments of life. It's funny, it's embarrassing, it's real. But, sometimes by letting your guard down and revealing and being open, that's how you connect with people. It allows them to put their guard down and see, okay, this person is not, just on the outside. They can really connect. And thankfully, in putting myself out there in the blogs and offering my advice and seeing that, showing and demonstrating that I'm really comfortable with myself and I'm open to talking about anything, I think other people have allowed themselves to connect with me on a very personal level very, very quickly, and I find it so, not to sound cheesy, but it feeds my soul in a way. When I go to the supermarket, I can talk to the cashier about their life struggles. I can talk to, just the other day I had gone to the supermarket and there was this cute little elderly man that I don't speak Dutch. I'm learning. I don't speak Dutch. And he came over to me and started playing a cart tag. And then he started guiding my cart. I wasn't sure what he was doing, but he was so cute. And he started talking to me in Dutch and then, just put his hand on my face and he was so cute. And, we kind of connected because I think people can sense when you're open and, just very ready to make a connection with people and you're not on guard or reserved or in this, grouchy or angry, looking behind, dark shades, kind of a persona. When you're just kind of real and ready to connect with people, they see it, they sense it, no matter what language they speak or where they're from. And it's really fun for me. It's really enjoyable. It makes my day dynamic and unique and special. And I really believe and value in everything that I write. It's real. It's from the heart. I stand by every word that I've written. And thankfully, from the time that I started the blog until now, it's resonated quickly, like you had mentioned, with the Huffington Post and Bonbon Break and Tricycle, and also recently Thrive Global, that kind of resonates that same mission that I absolutely adore. It's about being yourself and letting it go and laughing and learning and, just enjoying life together and not being scared to learn from others and grow. So that's my premise, and I really believe it. No matter how embarrassing my blogs start off, I'm okay with it. I would talk to anyone on the street, Dean on the street, with anyone about anything if they asked, and I'm finally truly comfortable with myself and everything that I stand for.
Ruthi, you've got to be a tremendous person to be a contributor to Bonbon Break, Tricycle, and obviously the Huffington Post. So you've got a tremendous world following that obviously here in the States, obviously I wanted people to know, and especially my audience, who Ruthi Davis is, because it's a tremendous gift and talent that if someone could help people to let go of all their insecurities and learn to accept and overcome what everybody goes through in their daily struggles and missteps and frustrations, that you have if you could feel complete confidence in sharing and laughing about everything that you go through in your day-to-day challenges, whether it's parenthood, drama, relationship issues, personal growth, without fear of judgment and criticism, you've got something going, young lady. I'm telling you, you're very special. And I want to, I didn't touch base with you. I want to throw this out that I want, if you're okay with it, future shows and people that are listening, if people want to write into you or write into me directly at dean@deanbleckman.com. You could either go to my website, deanbleckman.com, for the show, or you could just email me directly, dean@deanbleckman.com. If you want to communicate with Ruthi Davis directly. Ruthi, how do you feel about maybe future shows that we do, that if people want to share, personal life issues, where they're located. We don't have to keep it personal. We don't have to mention anyone's names, but it might be a great future interaction of shows for us to do that.
Absolutely. I would love it. And I think we should do it. It's all about connecting with people on a global level. Living as an expat on and off for the last decade, it's afforded me the possibility to meet so many fascinating people from every corner of the world, every professional capacity, family dynamic, and I love that. That's what I'm about. So if you'd like to open it up and allow people to provide commentary and just kind of make that a show or future shows, I think it would be fantastic.
Just real quickly, because I see we're running down on time, but if you just wanted to spend just 1 minute, I know there's so much on your website. There's, if you want to just share, I'm gonna go down a couple of them. Your Ask Ruthi advice column, how that's different from the Chronicles blog.
Sure. Well, the Chronicles is just a blog. They're personal, testimonial, and life lessons about various subjects, like I had mentioned, relationship, family, parenting, wellness, health, nutrition, a full gamut. The advice column, Ask Ruthi, is completely different. That is where, and thank you for mentioning that, I engage readers, viewers. Please send in your questions via email or the contact us section on the superflysupermom.com website. Send in anything, questions. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a teacher. But I've learned a lot, not everything, but I've learned a lot. And I feel like I have a lot of good instinct. And I enjoy providing advice and just personal, testimonial, life lessons, working together. A lot of people call me kind of their life coach, in a sense, to help guide them, kind of like I have learned up to now. So send in your questions and comments, and then I go ahead and specifically answer those questions with a blog, with an answer. It goes up on the site, and then it circulates throughout social media. So if somebody provides me a question and they want it to be anonymous because it's very personal, they don't want it attributed to them, completely anonymous, I'd be happy to do that. Just write that in your comments. Basically, I just write the person's name and what city and state or country they're from. So any restrictions, any worries, any questions, I am very open in discussion about anything. So go ahead, put that in your notes, and I will answer your questions on one of the future Ask Ruthi blogs.
Great, Ruthi. How about the Fly on the Wall Chronicles book preview?
Yes, I have been for a few years writing I call it a parenting unguide. So it's basically, I believe, people were not robots, and we are all different. And as parents, we know our children innately, the best, more than doctors sometimes and professionals. Although doctors, I'm not knocking you in any way. Anyway, I wrote this book, and it is full of empowering quotes and really funny and cringeworthy testimonial that I have gone through from the pregnancy stage, newborn stage, all the way up to preteen. And, I touch on a few other areas that kind of go beyond that, although I can't speak for myself because my eldest is 11. So basically, it's full of empowering quotes, testimonial, and life lessons. It's almost written in an eclectic editorial format, so the end always provides some top tips, things to grasp onto. I've learned a lot about home remedies, helping children through school, learning, behavior, things to look out for, and just practical life lessons, trial and error lessons that I've learned from making my own mistakes that pediatricians, parents, and a lot of times friends don't mention. Once you start speaking with parents, and I've done a lot of life research in moving around, speaking to parents about what they do, how they handle situations. So I've kind of compiled a wonderful book filled with real life scenarios that are predominantly mine, and trial and error tips that you really won't get from people unless you are very connected with them and at a very personal level. So I've tried a lot of these and they've worked, and I'm happy to share.
Wow, that's really empowering. How about the Toddler Talk book preview?
Oh, okay. Well, Toddler Talk, you can see the book preview. Haven't published it yet. That's my next endeavor. But basically, through the years, I have done a lot of research by way of, polls and asking parents, speaking with parents all around the world, just really funny quotes that you can't really make up. They're just sometimes your kids say the most hysterical things that are true to them in their world, and they're trying to figure things out, and they come up with really, really, really funny quotes. So I compiled the top list in every subject, and I developed a book out of it. It's basically a really fun coffee table book, and that one hopefully will be coming out soon as well, Toddler Talk. There are all of the funny things that you can't make up. There are the quotes and expressions and, and the questions that kids say.
Super. Let's move on. The Living Book Young Adult Series book preview.
Yes, the Living Book. I can't take credit for that. That is actually a series. It's a young adult thriller series that my daughter Isabella has developed, and it's actually going to be published when she finishes the last volume in the series. We started this project together. She was struggling a bit at school with literacy, with reading, with comprehension, with writing, with expression, grammar, and I know that that's a hot topic for a lot of parents who have that kind of issue with their kids. How do you get kids engaged? How do you get them to practice and understand and comprehend and write and be okay and open to writing and not being feeling like it's homework and it's, drudgery, that they really enjoy it. And I think that self-expression is really important. So I created this initiative at home to get Isabella to write more and to practice her skills. So we created this project. She saw that I was writing blogs, that it was going well, that I opened up a website. She became excited about it, and it was actually really funny the way that project began. She had seen a Harry Potter movie and had a terrible nightmare about it, and she came downstairs in the middle of the night crying, about Voldemort and all the characters in Harry Potter and her bad dream. And I basically told her, I said, J.K. Rowling is an absolute brilliant master at painting a picture in your mind so embedded that you are going to sleep and your mind is still creating these images. She's a genius. You are very creative as well, so why don't you try and write just like her? And so that's what she did. The next day, she really, I think she spent maybe 4 days straight, morning till night, every day, every night, writing this amazing, I'm not into horror or thriller, but apparently she is. She likes that excitement and the mystery and the intrigue, and she put together this amazing book. When your guard's down, the most amazing things come out. She created this book, and I turned it into an entire project, which is part of my youth literacy campaign in self-expression. And she wrote this book, and I had her then type it into the computer, which took a bit of encouraging because typing with one finger at a time is frustrating for a 10-year-old at the time. So she actually did a wonderful job in learning how to do computing, typing, writing, creating the full circular picture, editing, lots of rounds of editing, which was a hard facet for her to learn. And now she's, a master at it, and storytelling and grammar and punctuation and typing, and really being dedicated from beginning to end with a project. So she developed this living book. It's a wonderful story. All of the illustrations are actually, she paid them her allowance. She paid her brothers and sisters and, her allowance a few coins to illustrate. So it's really real and captures what she wanted. And she mastered the entire book. I did some light editing at the end to polish it up. And she has a publishing contract that is pending. I didn't want to push her, but it's a 4-volume series. It's a young adult thriller series. The living book is the first one about the story of a boy named Brandon, after her brother, who basically figures out his hidden truth of his past. And it's an adventure in mystical worlds and fighting for what's right and kind of uncovering this long legacy of his background and everything he's capable of. So it's a really, really fun, exciting book. And there'll be many more. They're actually finishing the third one right now. So once they're finished with all 4 and they're ready to go, then you may be seeing it hit shelves.
Listen, here's a favorite of mine, Supermom and Super Dad Awards.
Yes. My personal philosophy is I feel that no matter where you are in life, what you're doing, as long as you're trying hard and you're learning and you're a good person, you deserve to be appreciated. So I developed this initiative called the Supermom Dad and Kid Awards, and basically every month, and we're due for the next one, so feel free to send in your nominations. You can nominate yourself, you can nominate someone else, and I basically provide a virtual award for a mom or a dad or a kid who's just really doing great in life. That may mean improving in your everyday, trying really hard. Maybe you did something special, but it's just a way to celebrate each other, shining the spotlight on you for a moment and saying, great job. We hear you, we see you, and we are happy for you. You are a great person. So we share that around social media. It's posted on the website, and there are awards that come up every month. So send in your nominations, please.
Well, Ruthi, we're running down on time. I know there's a lot more that the audience can go to when they go to superflysupermom.com. They could look at your SuperKids Chronicles, SuperKids Awards. This past hour just comes through passionately that Ruthi Davis, really an authority on live, laugh, and love passionately, and you will find true happiness and success in your life. And anyone around the world that's connecting with us right now today or in the future, please contact Ruthi. You could reach her directly at rdavis@superflysupermom.com. Her website, once again, superflysupermom.com. To me, Dean Bleckman, she's Superwoman Ruthi Davis.
Thank you, Dean. And it's a pleasure meeting you and speaking with you. You've really, in this short time, we've become really good friends. And it's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to connect overseas. Imagine, from New York to the Netherlands and, wherever life takes me next. We'll definitely stay connected. There'll be future shows and I hope everybody here on Facebook Live has enjoyed this segment, and I hope to be connected with you again, and we'll definitely keep in touch. You're an inspiration in your own story and in your own legacy from your Dean Bleckman show and Dean on the Street, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So thank you so much for having me, and thank you for your support. It's been really, really wonderful.
Well, you inspire me every day, and most importantly, besides the show, I want to thank you very much for becoming a really good friend of mine.
Oh, thank you. Likewise.
So I want to wish you next week a happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. You too.
Congratulations on your wedding anniversary. You're truly blessed. You got a great family, and I want to thank you again for coming on the show. You're more than welcome with your friends, family, and everybody around the world to stay on Facebook Live as long as you want. But I'm going to close out the show once again. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you, Dean. It's a pleasure. And all of my best to you and to your family. And, please, let's get together again soon. And everyone watching on Facebook Live, if there is a topic that you'd like Dean and I to explore, or just a really fun session live, let me know, and we'll work on that. We'll coordinate it. It's fun. It's my first time on Facebook Live, so thank you for watching.
Yeah, if anyone, I want to emphasize again, if anyone has any ideas or true life experiences they want to share with Ruthi directly or with me, want to be a part of future shows, come on, don't be afraid. Ruthi and I want to hear from all of you.
I would love it. And I would love to stay on Facebook Live longer as well. Thank you to all of my friends that have tuned in from grade school. I see you, and it's fun to see you on here, and family and really supportive friends in this expat community. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Ruthi, thank you. I just want to close out saying, as I always do, that if anyone wants to follow the Dean Bleckman Show, they could go to deanbleckman.com. Please like the Dean Bleckman Show on Facebook. You could find this show and all past shows on the YouTube channel of the Dean Bleckman Show, as well as iTunes. We always want to encourage interaction. We want to hear your ideas. If you'd like to be a guest future on the show, you could write to me directly at dean@deanbleckman.com. But I want to say for everybody around the world that's listening to this show today, and Ruthi Davis, I just want to say from all of us, I want to thank all my listeners, and from all of us here at the Dean Bleckman Show, just have a great day.
Absolutely. And I have to pick up the kids, so I can't stay on too much longer as well. But thank you, everyone, so much for joining in. And thank you, Dean, for having me. You are a wonderful person, and we will continue connecting. So thank you all so much.
Take care, Ruthi. I'm signing off. You could stay on Facebook Live.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Now.
You've been listening to The Dean Bleckman Show, live from Long Island, New York. From all of us here, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. We look forward to hearing your comments via Facebook, Twitter, Skype, and email. And don't forget, you can visit the webpage anytime for the up-and-coming guest list. From all of us here, have a good evening.